Already sneaky.
St. James Church, 1 hour.
I need to speak to Graphic.
Yeah, well, you're talking to me.
Graphic? Oh my god, whose voice is that? Oh my god!
It's Rhodey!
Colonel Rhodes?
He's facilitating.
Welcome back to the break room, and this week's episode, Betrayal, is all about parents and children. And also, best friends?
Best friends?
Best
It is
friends,
if
maybe?
if you're here.
We are back in the Skrull search. This is Inside Marvel, new Rockstars Marvel reaction show. I'm Hector Navarro, and joining me today is the greatest Australian I've ever known.
Well, I mean...
Maude Garrett. Sorry, Mendo.
Mendo's
Sorry, Ben
in
Mendelsohn.
the episode.
Sorry, Ben Mendelsohn.
Mate,
Mate.
Listen, I feel like we've worked together for long enough. I'm just cleaning up your mess.
That's true, Maude. You are cleaning up my mess. Maude Garrett, everybody.
Yay,
Woo! Maude, you have a wonderful sweatshirt on. I want to ask you about your sweatshirt before we get into the rest of this episode.
Yes.
What is it?
It's my merch for my book club. I have a book club, everyone. I want people to read more sci-fi and fantasy.
Maude's book club is the best book club on the internet, bar none, hands down.
Whoa.
So go join it. Go get that sweet merch. That's a wonderful sweatshirt.
Isn't that fun?
It's really, really great. Okay, so we got a lot to get into.
Yeah. I mean, episode
Ready?
3
Yeah.
had a lot in it, but I feel like it was one of the more condensed, quick paced episodes.
Before we do dive into it, let's do a quick recap of episode 3. So we open on Pagan giving new identities to Beto and Xerxu, and taking a final identity for himself, all members of the British Royal Navy. We will now refer to them only as Skrull Team 6. Pagan lectures Beto on faith and how important it is to take risks. I thought that this little mention of faith was kind of interesting because I know we talked about it the past few weeks briefly, but in Marvel comic books, the Skrulls involved in the Secret Invasion storyline are very religious.
Oh, of course.
So-
So we're bringing in faith now.
Yeah, so again, I know Eric and I talked about this a few weeks ago. It's like, oh, we would love to get more of that. Like, tell me more about your religious beliefs. That kind of stuff
And
on
I think-
in the Skrull culture is interesting.
It's always important as well to learn the motivation of the villain because they never think that they are wrong. So don't ever step out of line. Don't ask questions.
Yep.
Faith
Yeah.
sees everything through.
You're talking about kind of understanding the villain's motivation.
Yeah.
Graphic reminded me almost of like Magneto in this episode. Magneto
nice.
is this great villain who has a motivation that is always like, I'm only concerned about mutant rights. And you can't fault him for that. Yeah. So we move on to Gravik, who shows off his Super Skrullinator 5000 to members of the Skrull Council. We see later in the museum that Gravik has Extremis, but it's unclear if he has given that same power to the rest of the council, or if he has just the powers of Groot, the Frost Beast, or Cole Obsidian himself, or if he even has those yet. It's unclear. Skrull Team 6 boards a submarine named Neptune. And you're probably thinking this whole time watching, it's like, how is this going to play into it? Plays into it later in the episode.
Yeah.
After the titles, we jump back in time to the year 1998, where Nick Fury meets Vera's new shell and name drops Dreykov.
Now this is interesting, I think.
Yes, I am sure that Eric Voss is going to have a deeper meaning of this line in the breakdown. In the breakdown on main new Rockstars channel. But this was very interesting to you, the new human shell, this very flirty moment, the line of Dreykov. What do you make of it?
Well, this whole scene was really quite important because you're learning just how much Priscilla has been a part of everything in here as well.
Yeah.
You're learning about this introduction of how, because of the timeline, of Black Widow's kind of main villain plays a part in this. And it kind of brings Earth under one umbrella in this storytelling.
So back to present day and Priscilla, and they're catching up.
Over coffee. Coffee was the through line. They're bonding over coffee.
Maybe it's a reference to Luke Cage and how coffee in that show meant boning, which I'm sure they had sex. Let's talk about it. So Fury jokes that in retirement, he's going to take up revenge. So
Revenge looks good on him.
It looks great on him, and we're just waiting for him to open up a Word doc at the end of the show and type Revengers Initiative. He gets lectured for disappearing after the blip, and he deserves it.
Okay, so this is cool because we're
one of the best scenes.
Originally, Fury is the man who gets it done. He's 5 steps ahead. He knows everything. But now we're seeing vulnerabilities with this man.
Yeah.
He disappears. Priscilla's like, I mourned you. I thought you died. I thought you were
5
never
years.
coming back. And
5
so when
years.
you did come back, you then left. And you chose to leave me.
You couldn't deal.
And I think that this is really interesting. This show is really fleshing out Fury as a character, the depth of him, how he's mourning, how he's like not being able to cope with his part in all of this, but the fact that he, left his wife. And now we're, I will say this episode wasn't subtle with some of its, moves. There is a mole. We kind of knew what that play was, but now we're really getting a very deep look at the fact that we don't know Priscilla's loyalties.
Back to that dialogue, back to this moment, we get a really clear look at Priscilla's pink flip phone. Very cute.
Hello.
By the way, I just want to say, Barbie's coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking pink flip phone. Flip phone, you got to get this t-shirt. The Barbie Oppenheimer shirt, guys, you can get this at nerdriot.shop. Check this out. If you saw that pink flip phone and you said, that's adorable, I want to have that phone, don't get the phone, get the t-shirt. It's great.
That's a great color too.
It's really nice.
Speaking from experience.
I love it. And then this is such a great t-shirt too because we just saw Margot Robbie holding up a photo of ticket stub of the Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Your
and then
move,
they did the
Cruise.
same thing.
Your move, Christopher Nolan. No, Tom Cruise did it. Your move, Christopher Nolan.
No, he did it too.
Christopher Nolan?
I think so.
Barbie ticket stub?
Yeah.
Good. So we get a great look at that pink flip phone, and we're going to come back to that because Fury looks at the phone like he's ready to snoop.
Well, we are too.
We are.
Yeah.
We don't trust anybody. Back in New Skrullos, Gravik lays a trap for, quote, really good liar, Gaia. She says that herself.
Why? Why would she say that? As soon as she said that, I was like...
I believed it.
Why don't you just tell him that you're the mole? I'm a really good liar.
In the car to the museum, he fakes a phone call, spilling all of the details about the upcoming attack on the UN plane. And I clocked that as well.
It's so on the nose. There's no wiggle room here. You don't have to guess.
Saying it out loud, and I'm going, girl, that's a trap, girl. Girl, that is a trap.
But the thing is, the bait is huge.
Yeah.
It is like...
She has no choice but to report on it.
A submarine is taking out a plane, and there are big key factors here. Like, that is a... Yeah, I think it's really well done. But, Gravik knows what he's doing.
This is a great observation here. Someone tell Gaia that she's not in one of this show's flashbacks, and she uses a numpad phone to write down the details.
Spy 101, burner phone.
Yeah.
She uses that phone to pass on the details, but you cannot trace it.
Yeah, burner phone. Okay, that makes sense. So then Talos and Gravik meet in the museum, and I gotta say, Gravik has very bad museum etiquette.
I'm so glad we all agree on this.
We are all on the same page
about
this.
Dude was shouting, and immediately, like my inner library just went, we whisper.
We've all been thrown out of museums for much less. When their conversation turns to Gaia, Talos stabs Gravik with a knife.
Put your hand out.
And I'm not gonna bring up Crocodile Dundee, because that's an easy joke. I'm not gonna do it.
Because it's not a knife? Because it was a knife.
Yeah. And it's an Australian with a knife. But it's right there, but I'm not going to do it. It's too simple. So Gravik rips the knife through the rest. Also, we also have to mention, too, that like before he does that and just kind of threatens him, all the other people in the museum.
Okay, power move. And that goes back to your analogy that Gravik is a lot like Magneto. They respect power. They use power as their sort of artillery. But anyway, what we're doing now is that we're seeing that Gravik is more than meets the eye.
Extremis. He's a transformer. I mean, he's an extremis soldier. He pulls his hand. He reveals that he has got extremis healing powers.
Do all the Gravik decoys have that now?
Great question. As Talos flees, he bumps into a shapeshifted Gaia, who it took me a second when the show held on that exchange for a minute too long of the old man, and then he held up the phone, and I went, okay, that's Gaia.
But then got in the car and then did a runner, and then she appeared.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was really well done.
Gravik does seem to notice her shapeshift, setting up their final showdown. And then at a pub, Fury apologizes to Talos for his harsh words on the train and asks for his help. Talos resists at first, but they're best buds, and they can't stay away from one another. They really do love each other.
Well, they're mirrors. We're learning more and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Fury relays Gaia's intel to Sonya. The Skrulls plan to use a submarine Neptune to launch a missile at a UN plane. Although Sonya is busy dealing with a Skrull infestation in her own ranks, she does give Fury the location and name of the submarine captain, Commodore Robert Fairbanks, a.k.a., according to Fury at least,
Bob! Bob.
So great.
I did really quickly want to talk about Sonya here. Yeah. I mean, they are on the same side.
Yeah.
But the fact that Fury spied on her and she's found the recording device. And I was able to put the little eye patch on the owl. It's like they're bickering, but they realize they really do have to work together because there's so few people that have this intel and that want to stop it.
And I think it's a great revelation that she saw the little spy craft thing, because it tells us that Sonya is a character who may be as important or impactful or as powerful as a Nick Fury, But the Marvel world is still going to tell us that Nick Fury is the best spy. Well, so Sonya got there. She was just a little bit late. Like, she saw that there was she saw she was being spied on, but she was a little bit late.
Is it just an analogy of America versus Britain?
Absolutely. What's the analogy? What's it saying?
Well, America's better.
Oh,
right?
Clearly.
America's always ahead.
Clearly.
But the Brits that are there, they'll figure it out eventually.
They'll get there, those pesky Brits. So on the drive over, Talos makes his feelings about his relationship with Fury clear.
Yep.
He and his 19 spies helped Fury get to where he is today.
Reinforcing the fact that Fury is only as good as the people around him.
Yes. I love that. Their intel giving him the advantage to rise through the ranks of S.H.I.E.L.D. Despite his earlier apology to Talos, Fury doesn't concede here, but mostly because they've arrived at Bob's.
Well, really quickly, hold on.
Yeah.
Fury calls him a dog?
He says, I'm picking up your stuff.
I'm picking up your mess.
Your mess.
Your mess. You're leaving. You coming into our planet is leaving a mess that I'm cleaning up.
Yep.
And Talos is like,
hang on.
You were promoted because of me and my team.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be where you are.
I love it. I love it because
I am underappreciated in this relationship.
I want to talk about the scene just a little bit. We've got Fury now as a young S.H.I.E.L.D. agent in the 90s.
Yes.
So I love how in the MCU they're explaining that from that point to like the first Avengers movie where he's like the guy, how does he get there in a world where 1995 is revealed they're Skrulls, man. This should be above human intelligence Nick Fury, above human resources Nick Fury, but he's been using them this whole time. I thought is a brilliant choice to do that because it gives almost like a superpowered reason, which is literally shapeshifting, for how Fury could be the spy in a world which is about to have more superpowered people.
But they're all answering to him.
Yes.
And it's like, at what cost?
Yes.
You don't get info for free.
We've got a lot of thoughts. Okay, so the two of them, Talos and Fury, they punch and shoot their way into the house, leading to a standoff between Bob holding Talos at gunpoint, and then Fury holding Bob's human son, Zachary, at gunpoint.
Beautiful moment there, where it's like, how did you know? How did you know it wasn't me on the phone? It's like, no one calls me Nick.
That was great. That was great. Ultimately, Bob gives in. Seemingly, Fury and Talos have the upper hand, but they're a little too late with the order to fire already having been issued to the sub. The captain on board is confused, but is being peer pressured to confirm the strike by one of the Skrull Team 6.
Gotta do it.
So, question for this. Yeah. Did the Skrull posing as Commodore whatever, Bob, pretend like he cared about the human son because he still didn't want to reveal that he's a Skrull?
This is what's really interesting. We're learning that people's biggest weakness are their children. Talos, he's cracked twice if you mention Gaia. And now we're seeing Bob with his son Zachary. But we were talking off camera about the fact that if Bob's really a Skrull, that's his human son.
That's Zachary, who doesn't know his dad's a Skrull right now.
But then his mission should be the most important thing. But we're learning that his son is the most important thing, hence the password. But it's like, does Zachary know that his dad is not actually his dad, but a Skrull taking the shape and form of his dad?
And if this Skrull Team 6 mission with the sub was like pretty recent, did that just mean that like Bob got replaced that day? Like, or how long has Bob been Skrull?
A plant, yes. And then did Zachary find out when his dad was eventually shot because he said something he shouldn't have, and then Talos was like, pow, pow.
Was there a body left there that then reverted green, and then Fury and Talos just peace out, and then the son
Zachary's
comes in
left
like,
there.
Dad's an alien? Dad?
What a way to learn.
Am I an alien? I don't know. So Fury fails at convincing the Commodore to call off the airstrike, and Talos can't just shapeshift to do it because only Bob has the code word.
Okay, not obvi, because apparently if you can shapeshift into said person, then you get all their memories.
No.
Okay, what?
No. Not unless you go into the machine.
Right.
So Talos could have shapeshifted to do the voice.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Bob.
But doesn't have access to
the memories. But doesn't have the memories.
He was British.
Yeah. Hello there, Governor. This is Bob, isn't it? Don't do it, isn't it?
You wonder why there's tensions between the...
Yeah, whatever. Between the US and... they could be afforded to be taken down a peg. The UK, they're fine. So, yes, but that's why he...
didn't have the passcode.
Yeah. Things get
and he
heated.
Shot the man that did.
Things get heated.
So he risks his daughter's cover.
Yeah, I know. For this.
He loves her so much, but he's willing to compromise her undercover position.
They keep doing it. Skrull Team 6 continues to pressure the captain to go through with the strike. They keep doing it. Bob takes shots at Talos. Shouldn't have done that, revealing to Fury that Talos declined a partnership with Gravix. Makes sense. The two of them could have led the Skrulls together. Fury shoots Bob in the leg, and Talos takes away the gun. But as Bob keeps pushing Talos...
This is the thing. Talos has control issues when it comes to Skrulls. You just can't kill them, he says to Fury.
I know.
If we're going to do this, I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to do it
Yep.
If he says my daughter's name.
You can't bully my kid sister. I'll do it.
Yep.
Don't
Let me
you do
handle
it.
this.
It makes sense. But as Bob, like, I can't do an Australian accent. You can do an Australian accent.
Can I?
Can't do it. Yes, you can.
Wow.
I can't do it.
This whole time?
It's offensive if I do it. But as Bob keeps pushing Talos, he messes up big time. Like Maude was saying, by insulting Gaia, Talos snaps and shoots Bob with Fury's gun. We watch him shift back into a Skrull with no code word gained.
Uh-oh.
No option left. Talos chooses to phone a friend and calls Gaia, asking if she can retrieve the code word. She punches her way to the fracking pods area, sifts through Bob's memories, seeing all the time that he spent with his son. She relays the code to Talos, who tells her to run. The launch sequence begins on the submarine, but Talos is able to get the code word through Zachary. One of the Skrull Team 6 members tries to stop the aborted launch, but the sub-captain is able to remove the key, definitely suspicious of his crew. What
Why
the
are you
heck,
so
bro?
eager?
Why are you so eager? Who are you? Are you a Skrull?
Trigger happy.
After they load the dead Skrulls into their van. Okay, so I guess they took away the Bob Skrull.
Zachary saw it happen.
Maybe.
He
Like,
was
sorry,
in the
kid.
room.
Sorry, kid. Hey, go back
I
in
know
your
what
room.
it looks like.
Go back in your room.
But it doesn't look like that.
Is my dad okay?
Does
we
this
don't
look
know.
like your dad?
We don't know. This isn't your dad. After they load the dead Skrulls into their van, Fury asks Talos why he didn't take Gravik's deal. He has a simple answer. He's with Fury.
Was that enough of a reason for you? Because that didn't quite make enough sense for me. I needed another line.
That's a great point, Maude. That's a great point. I have a feeling we'll get
Because I'm
another
on your
line.
team.
I have
Why?
I have
That's a
feeling-
what?
Yep.
Not a why?
Yep. I have a feeling we'll get another revelation. Okay. Why is Talos so loyal to
Why
Fury?
are you abandoning your own people?
People.
Your entire
side with Fury.
species.
Or did he, or at least this group of Skrulls who are following Gravik, because remember, there's a million. We don't know if all million of them are with Gravik, or if they're just some people just kind of anonymously living, some Skrulls anonymously living on the planet. And Talos, it keeps bringing up, or he brought up, I believe we can coexist. I believe we can live peacefully together. I believe he's kind of like almost like a Charles Xavier of the X-Men.
Okay, yep.
Whereas Gravik is Magneto, more militant, where Talos is like, I think we can have peaceful coexistence. What if the Skrulls revealed ourselves? Would we be able to walk around in our own skin?
And
here on
Gravik's
Earth?
like, no, we take everything.
Because he might be closer to Fury's line of thinking, because Fury is going, no, humans are too prejudiced. Humans are too prejudiced. That will never happen.
Fury is walking, breathing example of integration. Of, accepting Skrulls.
He has a married, I know, he married a Skrull woman.
Do you think that was almost like a loyalty test where it's, like back in the day where there's times of war, you marry into the families to kind of create that alliance.
Oh, you think it was like a political thing?
Well,
I think
but
they love
I
each
do
other.
I do think they love each other, but
Sure,
it's that kind of thing where it's like you've chosen, you've married that level of commitment.
Are you saying that Nick Fury, Nicholas J, is so spy-minded that he would maybe really care for Priscilla, but marry her to almost show all the other Skrulls, like, I married one of you. You should side with me.
No,
That's
but I
pretty...
think that's why Talos has accepted Fury beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Talos knows Fury. He really does know him.
Yeah, 30 years.
Maybe closer than any other human or otherwise.
Bestie bickering.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. That's what we do all the time.
Every day.
So Gaia speeds away from New Skrullos on a motorcycle, but is stopped by Gravik, who explains that this was all a setup to confirm that she was the traitor. Gaia attempts to take a stand against Gravik, but he fires at her callously. He drives away, leaving her now Skrull form body lifeless on the ground. In our final scene, we follow Priscilla, who after getting a notification on a different cell phone...
They're burners.
Makes her way to a safe depository box, looking over her back the whole way. In the box is a gun and an envelope. Pretty basic. The phone rings, and a voice tells her to meet at St. James Church in an hour. St. James Church in an hour, saying she needs to speak to Gravik, which is already a crazy revelation in and of itself. She's talking to Gravik? I mean, earlier when she was on the phone with Fury in the room, it was very vague, and she's like, I don't have that information now.
Yeah,
Okay,
but that was sus.
Click.
Everything
Super
about her is
suspect.
sus. She's
Super
holding her
suspect.
bag cloak. Like, come on.
Super suspect. So
They're not
saying that she
they're not
needs
subtle.
to, right? She needs to speak. It's funny you mentioned that because I did miss this that next thing. But I need to speak to Gravik. The voice replies, "Well, yeah, well, you're talking to me." And as we close on a concerned-looking Priscilla, it sets in. Was that Rhodey on the phone? It absolutely was.
Dun, dun,
it absolutely
dun.
was. That was great.
Yes.
I have a question for you. Why didn't they cut to Don Cheadle somewhere? Do you see what I'm saying? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they fit?
Entertainment brain?
Yeah.
That's a whole other paycheck for an entire episode.
Versus just VO?
Yeah.
Versus just like ADR?
Yeah.
Also, Don, we need you to do this 2 lines.
I would have said they did need more clarification because the big drop was the fact that she's asking for Gravik. So we as the audience were taking a beat to compute that.
But if
he needed another line of dialogue, whereas like you're talking to me, is like Rhodey not enough? You know what I mean? Like it's just a little because some people missed that. the first time.
Potentially, but then is it because we have a Skrull who is just now temporarily taking the place of Rhodey during the events of this show, standing next to Gravik?
Gosh,
I don't
Rhodey,
know.
if we could just address the fact that Rhodey is the best right-hand man.
Oh, wonderful.
He's the right-hand man to Secretary of State.
Tony Stark.
He's the right-hand man to Tony Stark.
President.
And now the right-hand man to Gravik, who
Yep.
has total unprecedented power.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the question now is Rhodey a Skrull?
Yes, working with Gravik.
How
yes.
long has he been one?
I think after the Tony moment.
After Endgame. After Endgame, which
100%.
means it could have been Skrull, Don Cheadle in The Falcon and the Winter
You know,
Soldier.
it could have
talking to
happened
Sam
after
Wilson.
the meeting in episode 2.
Oh,
It could have
so
happened
that
after
recent?
then.
So that
yeah.
recently?
So all the United Nations come together. He's there in person.
Okay.
Kidnap. Change.
I'm sorry. I'm now starting to believe, right? He's working for Gravik. That's why he fired Fury, to get Fury off the playing board.
Because Fury's too good of a piece on the chessboard.
We want to remove some of Fury's resources.
Yeah.
And if we say, Fury, you're fired from this, now you're really, really on your own. Maybe Gravik felt like he could deal with him better. Priscilla is working for Gravik. She's got 2 phones. Is she being forced to do something? There's a gun. There's what is Priscilla's...
Well, the only previous information we've had about Priscilla was
Yeah.
the fact that she recognized Gravik years ago as a protege. He's
That's true.
brilliant, and
That's
she
true.
championed
That's true.
him. So there is like a bit of a mentor-esque type relationship that's already been established in the show.
We could have, from the year 1996 up to whatever, including through 1998, maybe not until 1998, but 1998 in this episode had Priscilla, settling on a human form. This beautiful black woman that Nick Fury's like, well, hi, hey, hello, and they're flirty. And I think at that point, and he's like, I don't know if we can be in a relationship. And she goes, I don't work for you technically. I'm off the books. And I think maybe from there, Gravik is still in the picture. He's still a young man.
Yeah.
What if from that point, her and Fury get married
Yeah.
and they straight up even adopt
That's what I'm
Gravik?
thinking.
And it's a mother-father parental relationship. And there's even another layer of betrayal that Gravik feels. Not only did Fury get dusted, my father figure, who's the spy, and I learned everything I could from him
Abandoned
for
him.
5 years, but then he comes back and then he just goes up to space because he couldn't deal with the fact that he got dusted. Dad, now I'm pissed that you and Carol never found us a home planet. I wasn't pissed until a certain point. You know why? Because you were my dad and I was happy on Earth.
That is a
But
villain
now-
origin story.
But now I'm pissed. You know what? Now I'm pissed. And maybe
didn't love him.
Maybe Priscilla had something to do with that, or maybe she's always been kind of still loyal to Nick Fury, but has seen her son kind of Kylo Ren get away from him. And she couldn't do anything about it. But now she's like, look, talk to me. I'll do things for you. Okay, I need you to go kill this guy.
Who's she killing?
I don't know, but there's a gun in
got the
some
gun.
St. James Church. I don't know. She's going to go kill a priest or something.
Jamie's got a gun.
Watch out. So pretty incredible potential that this could lead to. We're going to get back into Inside Marvel. But first, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors that help bring Inside Marvel to you. First of all, Nerd Riot. I brought it up before.
Woo!
T-shirt. Hold that sucker up,
Love
Maude.
to.
Look at that. You have to be sure to check out nerdriot.shop, where you can always grab the latest and greatest new Rockstars gear. Right now, you can check out the new line of merch inspired by Secret Invasion. I got this right here.
Woo!
Come on.
Nice.
Every week, this shirt gets cooler and cooler.
It does. As the story evolves.
So, folks, support the channel. Check out our awesome merch options over at nerdriot.shop. And also, while we're here, check out Maude's Book Club. Subscribe to that. Go join that, because you gotta love books. And even if you don't love books, you nerd, there's somebody in your life who does love sci-fi fantasy. And the Maude's Book Club is going to be the perfect book club for them. So share it, okay? Share it with your loved ones. Back to the show. Is Gaia still alive?
Now, you turn into a Skrull when you are dead.
Correct.
You revert back.
Correct.
So she's dead?
Question mark. Or does she have any of the Super Skrull DNA? Did she put that in herself?
We've just
Question mark.
witnessed Gravik
Or-
healing. Could she? But why would he kill her knowing she could heal?
True, unless she did it secretly.
I think
Question
maybe
mark.
she did it secretly.
Or was that, I know this is a theory, was that just like another Skrull who took the form of Gaia
We've
to try
seen
to
as
leave?
well.
And then when this Skrull got shot, she reverted to a Skrull form, but then Gravik didn't recognize the Skrull lying
He was
on the
already
ground
long
because it was driving away, so couldn't confirm that was in fact Gaia, where he might know what Gaia's Skrull face looks like.
One
I would
last
imagine.
thing.
Yeah.
Just because the Skrull version is dead doesn't mean that the identity
True.
that was
so
taken.
Emilia Clarke is now going to be the human. We also have to bring this up, but just going back, one more potential.
Yeah.
If a Skrull gets shot and then they revert to a Skrull, but maybe they're still alive.
Because they're stronger.
They're strong. Are they doing it to pretend like, oh, I'm dead. I'm a Skrull. Look, I'm a Skrull. Go away. And then the person leaves, and then they can kind of go, okay, I did get shot. I need help.
But because I'm a Skrull, I've actually got more, I'm
but then
more strong than a human.
You got to imagine Gravik has a weapon or a gun or whatever that's going to be able to, like, maybe it's like a space age
the opposite
gun.
side of the heart?
I don't know. I don't know where Skrulls' hearts are. Maybe they're in their head like lobsters.
But that's what I would do.
I don't know.
I would, like, real talk, 100% I'd play dead.
Right? I know. I would do that all. If I was a Skrull, I'd be like, oh, my knee. I'm a Skrull. Oh, leave me alone. And then the person would leave. But we have to bring this up, okay? Let's get nerdy with this. In the world of GIFs, apparently Marvel had the official launch of like a bunch of different GIFs that people could use on the GIF website, whatever it is. Tenor. And they've got their little hashtags at the bottom of things. Apparently there was a GIF.
So when you upload a GIF, you have to name it something.
Oh, okay.
And when you name it, that's like searchable terms. So that when you look up like sort of, an emotion or a high five.
Hashtag Secret Invasion. Hashtag Nick Fury. Hashtag, and then a GIF will come up.
Yes. And so what someone did when they were uploading that GIF was that they named it.
Abigail Brand. With an Emilia Clarke GIF.
Yes.
Abigail Brand. Now, Abigail Brand...
And that leak happened. Everyone was like, ooh, we've got
she's
evidence.
Abigail.
It's
and then
Abigail.
they kind of took it away because she's Gaia.
Yeah.
And we have seen a Disney Plus MCU show put out an actor as like, this is this character, and then halfway through the show, they revealed it's somebody else. It happened in WandaVision. WandaVision had the wonderful Tiana Paris playing, I even forget the character's name, who she was just like in the sitcom world.
Yes.
And then halfway through the show, they're like, she's actually Monica Rambeau, the daughter of Maria Rambeau.
Also, it was Agatha all along.
Yes, it was. So there's a possibility that Maude just brought up. The Skrull Gaia is dead. But in a fracking pod back at the base is going to be Emilia Clarke, the actor. Waking up, she's the human. She's going to be Abigail Brand.
Now, what we've already seen is that Skrulls are taking key identities.
Yes.
They are infiltrating the Navy.
Yes.
They are political figures.
Yes.
Why not Abigail?
Abigail, in the comic books at least, we haven't seen Abigail Brand in the MCU to this point, but in the comic books, Abigail Brand is the director of SWORD, which is like the shield in space. Now, we've got already a version of that with Saber, and we had SWORD on the ground that was set in WandaVision, right? That's who they were dealing with SWORD, but they were kind of looking at like extraterrestrial activity or whatever. So
And Talos has been where during the Spider-Man?
Far From Home, he was in London. He was,
Yeah, but they were also, because Fury was up.
Was up on the Saber station, as far as we know. And is Saber connected to SWORD? And is Abigail Brand going to come in the Marvels movie? And does Abigail Brand have green hair like she does in the comic books? That'd be kind of cool.
Also, one last thing.
Maybe she'll dye her hair green to honor the Skrull that died using her name. That could be cool. Go ahead.
There you go. You don't hire Emilia Clarke.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
And kill her in episode 3.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is not the end of her. I'm just applying, entertainment reporter.
Logic.
There
it is. I agree with that.
All of them are possibilities.
We'll
find out next week.
Was that hashtag Abigail Brand leak a spoiler? I don't know. I'm sorry if it was. If you feel bad about it, I don't know what to tell you. Go read a bunch of Abigail Brand comics that she's in.
The next one we've got is Super Skrulls. And I love that they addressed it within the first 3 minutes. They're like, we're going to come out strong. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the game plan. Super Skrulls. It was teased when we were looking at sort of like the different abilities, but now we're seeing it in action. They are really implementing and rolling out Super Skrulls. But is this something that the Skrull Council has now? Why not show it? And who has Super Skrull powers? We know that Gravik does.
Yep.
We've seen what that looks like.
At least one.
When you have a council, to get people on your side, what would you want to offer them? Invulnerability. Powers. And I think that it makes sense where it's like, it's a very Magneto move. If you join me, I will protect you. I will enhance you.
Boost your abilities.
Because power speaks volume.
I think that to answer to here's a theory of the question, why not show it? Why not show the council having powers? I think because they're saving it for a big reveal in the show. It could
There's
be
only 3 more episodes.
It could be a real oh shit moment in the next 3 episodes. You know what I mean? Like it could oh, here comes Shooter McGavin. Oh, he's stretching his arm. Like could be really, really cool.
You want another question?
Got some ideas, please.
All right, cool. In the beginning, I say Vara.
That's fine.
Vera.
We'll take it.
Gives Fury some intel that would put Dreykov on his heels. But it's like, why are you bringing Black Widow into this, and what can we gain from that culmination?
Absolutely. I'm sure that Eric is going to have the best take on this on the internet.
Better than me.
Bar none. But I feel like it's going to be one of two things. It's either just the sort of world building. It's just the nod to, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So if we're talking about secret spy stuff...
1998.
Why not mention a villainous character in this sort of like political underworld that we've already mentioned before, that audiences can put a face to, can put a name to, can put a voice to, and just name drop Dreykov to be like, we're aware of Dreykov. Yeah. You know? The same way that now when you rewatch the first Avengers movie, and Tom Hiddleston's yelling at Scarlett Johansson, he's like, Dreykov's daughter? Now we have that context because we've seen the Black Widow. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's all it is just continuing to build on what they've already established. Or option number 2, like you were hinting at, they may factor in the world of Black Widow.
Yeah.
Do you think Black Widow is a Skrull?
Well, I'm just thinking...
Maude.
Well, the thing is with Skrulls, anything's a possibility now. Yeah. So we can actually look back and it's like, did Natasha Romanoff die quickly? And then was she able to transform into her original body? Or did she take a while to die? Whoa. I mean, like anything can kind of go back. We just learnt Rhodey is. You know, like anyone can be. So this is what's interesting about bringing that in. It can undo big events of the past. Yeah. Do I want them to? No. Like, laying stones lie.
Let laying spies lie.
Yeah.
Dead. She's dead.
Yeah.
But especially when it comes to things like that, where if you're talking about major characters like Black Widow or Captain America or Rhodey, you start asking questions like, wait, so then the Rhodey that was kneeling next to Tony Stark as he died, was that Rhodey a Skrull? And you start going, no, I don't want them to take away the impact of that moment. I don't want the Scarlett Johansson character who died on the planet for Clint Barton, for the rest of the universe, that sacrifice to be a Skrull. But then you start going like, well, shit, if she was a Skrull from as long as we've seen her, doesn't that still mean that alien was basically Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, who we love?
Weren't you saying that the comic books do a really good job of showing what that moment in time where the switch happens? Yes. I wouldn't mind. I mean, obviously we've only just come to the discovery of Rhodey. Yeah. I want to know when. So I can see if that was really him. You know,
I have a feeling
that's crucial time.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I do have a feeling that this show, Secret Invasion, because Don Cheadle is a part of the cast.
Yep.
Like Scarlett Johansson, as far as we know, not a part of this cast.
Did you say Skrull Johansson?
Skrull Johansson. Skrull Johansson, as far as we know, not part of this cast. Okay, sorry. Skrull Rogers, played by Skrull Evans. As far as we know, these bigger actors in these other major roles in the MCU,
they've had their time.
They're probably not going to cameo for this thing.
Just to get like entertainment inside baseball on this, Scarlett Johansson sued Disney.
Yeah,
but she's not coming back.
But then they did put out a statement being like, "No, we're cool now." They did do that,
but for a cameo, I don't think so.
I think it was. That's true.
She's producing a project now.
She's producing the Tower of Terror. She's producing the Tower of Terror based on the Tower of Terror Twilight Zone ride. Yeah, her experience, Disney, and then the pandemic, and then them putting her movie on streaming the same day so that it didn't make as much money. Yeah. So that she did not make as much money as her 5 male co-stars did in the previous, or 4 male co-stars. I don't think Renner was pulling that Robert Downey Jr. money. No, even when Renner got the Hawkeye show. I don't think he was doing that. Anyway, sucks to be Hawkeye.
Back to the break. Oh, no. Have you got a thought
all I was going to say was, I think the Secret Invasion show is going to tell us when the Rhodey switch happened.
Yes, better. Honestly, better.
They will. But if they're going to hint that other characters in the MCU are Skrulls, I don't think they're necessarily going to show us. Like, we may just see their face on a screen.
I just think it's too big. I think it's too big for a television show to undo, like, monumental moments of movies.
If this, basically, just to shoot forward in time, months or years for one quick second, if this storyline continues into a bigger movie, let's say, people have been saying, Avengers Secret Wars is going to be about Secret Wars in the comic books, which was this kind of like multiversal, like different universes kind of smashing together story.
Which is what DC is currently doing.
Yeah, they tried it with The Flash. It did not work. But that's just my take. But what if Secret Wars refers to Secret Invasion and the fallout of that? And
what if
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what if the 6th Avengers movie is just like Avengers versus Skrulls? And there they get all the big actors, your Anthony Mackies and your Tom Hollands and your Benedict Cumberbatches and your Brie Larsons to actually go and do the Skrull shapeshifty stuff.
It feels like the Marvel kind of contingency is going to clean up that mess. I don't think it's going to be a full powerhouse force. I don't.
You think the Secret Invasion show is going to sort of stay lower stakes?
I do.
Okay.
Which is weird because, 1 million Skrulls are now on the planet.
Right. But it does have a sort of spy vibe. And it is different
100%.
than
In
the
fact,
comics, yeah.
There is a shot early on which was taken basically from Alias, which is I guess everyone does it. I think even like reality shows started doing it.
Was there a wig?
No. It's the top down of like the center city kind of scope to show the location of the place. But it was like straight out of J.J. Abrams' like textbook.
Alias. Hey, that's what got him the job to direct Mission Impossible 3. And the rest is history. Subscribe to Inside Marvel wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening to this on the podcast. And we'd like to end with our favorite moment from the episode, which is a great moment.
Yeah.
Very visual moment. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
You rather rudely attached a nasty bug to my beloved hoot.
Tell me that's not the name of that owl clock.
No, not anymore. He has a new name now. Nicholas Fury. He has a rather dashing little eye patch now.